What's up, guys? Sorry, I was muted. So, it's been a good week. Last week we went to Daytona, and it was Daytona and track nights with SCCA, and it was pretty fun. They did it a little bit different this year. I guess they organized everything they put everyone in like one spot so that I guess they could go through the classes a little bit faster, like each race, each run. And I mean, I know they have to compact a lot of events or a lot of sessions into such a short time. So I guess that's why they do it. But last couple times we were kind of free to set up wherever we want, and it actually felt pretty good. So I don't know, like it was if it was necessary. Maybe there's more people this time, and uh, like maybe they shouldn't have done it. But I think it was kind of interesting for us, and maybe we will do it again. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I really do want to see what my car can do at Daytona after I add a little bit more power, just a couple more um, NA things, not really force induction or anything like that. So oh hey Neil, yeah, I'll join the Discord whenever we start driving. For this first part, we'll talk about Daytona for a little bit, and then we'll jump into the Discord, and then you guys could give me your thoughts on Daytona and all that. So been listen on the way there and on the way back, of course, been listening to some podcast, and I think this weekend was what's the name of them? Oh man, I can't believe I forgot. Here, let me pull them up. I listened to two main ones, and now I'm having a brain fart. So, Blind Apex podcast. Duh. So, yeah, I was listening to them about their big brake kit and big brakes setups and why it's important to have brakes. And I kind of figured that out last time at Sebring. I think you guys know I killed my brakes at Sebring. Pretty much barely made it home. And I thought I had half a pad left. But when I took the pads off, they were warped. So in the middle, it was, I guess they call it cupping. In the middle of the pad was worn down almost to the metal part, but the outsides of the pads, and when you inspect pads, you only look at the outsides. It looked like half a pad, so obviously it was bending. I might have a picture of it actually. But that just shows that like stock brakes on the 9th gen probably need to be upgraded, not just the compound and the fluid, that for sure, but maybe if you're tracking hard enough and going to a lot of tracks with where you use a lot of brakes, then maybe you should upgrade your brakes. So let me see if I have a picture. This was so long ago. I know it's kind of rude to scroll on your phone on stream, but this is related to the topic. On topic. All right, I see some pictures. A little too far. And I kind of wish I put them on my phone already so that I could show you guys on the screen, but I'll just show you guys through the camera. Kind of rude. I don't know if you could see that, but you could tell in the middle. I don't know if you could tell in the middle. It's kind of thin, and then on the outsides is right here. Looks like half a pad. On this side looks like half a pad, but right in the middle it's kind of. But yeah, I learned that. That's a lesson learned. So let's look at some pictures from the weekend. Yeah, we have the Assetto Corsa set up, ready to go. I don't have too many pictures, but I love the shot. So this is a nice shot. On the last session, me, Ian, and Moni, we decided we wanted to do a photo shoot. So we on the outlap, we kind of bunched together, and I tried to pull closer, but I couldn't keep up. But here's Ian up on the high end of the bank. This was taken using a 360, so no, Alan wasn't hanging out the window. People were like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. You should try to take pictures." It was a 360, so we were doing it safe. That's me in the back, and yeah, if you want to see more photos from Alan, this is our guy. Look at Alan Photography on Instagram. So just go ahead and follow him. Shout out to Alan from STech. He's like the main media guy for those guys, and he covers a lot of events. And if you want to see us and you can't make it out to the weekend, just follow his page, and he'll so it's a pretty good recap. He does reels too, so Pretty good guy if you ever met him in person too. So let's go look at the last lap with a cooldown. There we go. So this is me. I want to go on the outside and then cut in and break in a straight line for turn 1, but I kind of went overboard here and I turned it too early, so this is why I kind of track out. And I don't know, I was staring at this FL5. That was pretty bad. And Modi was behind me and he was kind of coaching me and told me, you know, like, you're over slowing there, and I think that was, you know, the reason why, because I was sliding out. I did 2 and then now 3 was pretty decent. Tracked out. And 4 is coming up. 4 I stayed flat. I don't know if you saw my signal light there. I tried to let Moni by. He's like, no, I'm gonna coach you. It's like, okay. Yep. And then break a straight line, and then I think I lifted too hard because then I'm understeering, and then like you see here, I correct a little too early, and then I overshoot it by just like probably a wheel. I know 2 wheels were off, but probably a wheel width. Brake, and then out into the outfield. And then, you know, I'm seeing my lights, they're green, and I see Moni, he's coming up behind me, so I'm like, I'm not gonna let up for this guy. I know, like, you know, whenever I let him by, I'm supposed to let up, but I'm kind of excited because I'm about to set a PB. So we kind of drag race. Drag race over here. And he's on to my right, and there he goes past. Hey, Adam. Yeah, I'm not into Discord yet. I'll be in there in a little bit. I just want to do the breakdown of the weekend first. Moni break at the 2, I break at the 2, I ship down the 4th. He has better exit speed than me because he's, you know, not as scared as I am. So he probably got on the gas a lot sooner and he carried more speed through there. That just shows, you know, like we have the same like setup pretty much, but look how far he's just pulling on me. And look, I'm still all green, ready to set a PB, and this guy is still like he's slowing down for me, right? There he goes. You know, like the only reason why I'm catching up to him is because he's slowing down. You see, he tapped on his brakes there to kind of make sure that his pads were still able to stop him for turn 1. And I don't know if you saw a second ago they're showing the checkered flag, so this is their cooldown. Moni's trying to show me the line here, and even though he showed me the line, I still turn in too early. So now I know better. So hopefully we could, you know, like during the sim, I could practice this line. And you know, I'm waving at the flag station people because you know they're out there all day, and this is a cooldown. But I still want to be close to Moni so I can follow his line, but I don't want to overheat the brakes. So. Trying to just cruise. You know, cruise to Moni is still pushing it for some people. But look at him go. And so yeah, he tried to show me the line here. Okay, so he went past the lines, and that's what Ian was telling me too. I got a better exit here, but I mean, obviously I'm not going full send. But hey, Mar. How's it going? Yeah, I still have to work on my skills. Hey Jamie, full send, wide open throttle, yeah, like, oh, so here we slow down so that we could get another photo op. We're kind of side by side. People are probably like, what are these guys doing? Yeah, Neil, he's on, I think, 200s and I'm on 220s. So I'm on RT 615s, a little bit, you know, like less grip, and I just could hear it better. But Jamie, yeah, brake fade for sure. I got so when was it? I got brake fade at the firm once, and since then I'm kind of like, okay, I really need to stay on top of my brake maintenance. You know, change the fluid, like more than just every oil change, probably every 2 track days, and then you know like completely change it, not just flush it out. So RT 615s, R200? I thought they were higher, so The reason why I picked RT 615s was because I could do it in, I guess, enthusiast class, but I might be wrong. Yeah, I think you're right. Let me check. RT 615. That's the end of the video. RT 615K plus. They are the treadwear. Oh, old tech 200s. Okay, so they are technically 200s. How was I? Oh, I know. The 220s I want to run in enthusiast class are Yoko's. What were they called? They were. I know somebody. I think Enrique has them on his S2K or wants to get them for his S2K. He has 615s now, but yeah, for sure not as grippy as AO52. So I have like AO52s on the Lotus. I have AO52s on the Lotus, and those are super grippy, even in the wet. So Ian, you were here. Let me play real quick. Ian's like, where was I during this session? Here we go. This reel's for Ian. He ran out of gas before those laps. So yeah, don't be like Ian and run out of gas when you're about to set a PB. Yeah, everything's green, and then suddenly I forget what turn it is. 3 maybe, turn 3. He takes it hard and then just runs out of gas, and we're like, bye Ian. Well, Moni was like, bye Ian. I was kind of just hanging out in the back. But yeah, don't run out of gas at the track. Don't be that guy. All right, so I hear some of you guys are in the Discord, so I'm gonna join the Discord. If you can, just stay on YouTube but mute it so that it's not like double. You don't hear double and the delay. Let me get in the game first because I can't screen share while I'm in Discord. So, you see my screen? Let me. All right, so Civic SI. I'm seriously thinking about trying to do like maybe a fit day. One day I'll do a spec fit, and we'll try out the same tracks that we've been trying out. This will probably be the last day for Daytona because what's coming up next is Roebling, so we'll probably practice Roebling. And I know Neil has a, like, you still have to go to Roebling, so be good. Maybe Wednesday. Oh, that's another thing. Wednesday we'll go over the data. I didn't have time to dump the data today, but next time, Neil, Wednesday we'll go over the data. Let me start this up real quick. I changed my video card, and ever since then I've had so many bugs. It's kind of annoying. I think it's because my old video card software is still installed, and it's kind of like confused between the two. Yeah, sorry, Neil. We'll do the data, and I know that's like a big thing, so we'll kind of treat it like a live stream, but then we'll record it so that we can have content for anyone else who's interested in data. All right, so jumping into Discord right now. What's up, guys? Can you hear me? I'm live now.
I can hear you.
What's up, Neil?
Living the dream.
How's your weekend?
Pretty good. I did my buddy from college, he did his first track day at the firm, so I was coaching him along with 2 other novices that, came through the firm themselves, So
Yeah, that's good. I knew you were gonna coach
guys,
this weekend, so
yep. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, you said it was his first time. What kind of car?
BRZ. Not really modded, just coilovers and all season tires, like a grippy all season, like a Michelin
Oh, okay.
AS3.
Yeah, yeah.
So definitely a seat time learner setup right now.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. I see
Yeah,
Moni's in the
definitely.
chat too. Probably just lurking. But yeah, yeah. What were we gonna say, Neil? Sorry.
No, I was just say, yeah, it was an overall good time. I ran a couple laps in my own car just to be out there because it was like 8-6 day, so there were a bunch of FRSs, BRZs, GR86s, and actually a couple AE86s. So it's kind of fun to run with everybody like that.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. 8.6 day. You guys took a nice photo. I was jealous. I was like, I want an 8.6 now. Like all you guys on the track is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was fun to see a nice mix of how people set their cars up and whatnot. You know.
And you even have the OG 8.6s, right?
Oh yeah, the granddads, and then like the GR86s out there too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which man, those cars. I'm falling more and more in love with those. I saw the RS Futures Art of Attack one.
Okay.
Running like a 156 at a Button Willow 2 weekends ago.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, it's creeping up on the S2000 times now. They're getting there.
Same car. I mean, say the same car that was at Button Willow was here, or just the same type?
Oh no no no! Just a video of it
Oh,
from
okay, okay.
RS Futures guys and Art of Attack guys out west. Just I saw the video this weekend. I'll send you it on IG.
Okay.
But yeah, they're starting to wheel them really well. Getting them dialed in.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's that generation. I think on Apex was actually talking about it, like 8.6, and this next generation of 9th gens, 8th gens are starting to become I guess the meta for front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, right? I mean, as far as like affordability and all that, right? And easy seat time and all the time trial guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like one thing. When I was first getting into time attack, I was like, why are these S2000 so quick? But then you realize like they've had like 7 to 8 years when I was starting to get into all this stuff of development time lead over to BRZs and FRSs.
Yeah.
And now it's like, so can't make a fair comparison until people get that, because when people buy a brand new car, they're usually a little more timid to track it to its limits too. So there's no doubt that an FL5 could be quicker than an FK8. We just don't have the data yet because who's going to push their FL5s as hard as an FK8 guy?
That's
and
true.
Even every successive generation is going to be that much more of a okay, well,
Yeah, that makes sense. I still don't have a frame, so my pedals still flip forward. So I don't know if you can see me pressing the brake and trying to feel it out, but whatever.
Do what you can with what you got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. The way they did it this year was they kind of made everyone park together, like as people rolled in. You know what I mean? They didn't like let you pick your spot and all that. And then they made everyone stay at I guess I get, what do they call it? I guess like where everyone, like not the paddock, not where you have all your tools and stuff, but I guess like the main like a staging area. Yeah, the staging area. They made everyone stay there,
Like
and
grid.
yeah, they stayed in grid. And it's like, okay, how are you gonna check your tire pressures and all that when all your tools are back, like in the paddock? So I don't. It was kind of weird. I don't know. Some of the guys they're talking about like not doing it again, but whatever. I still want to do it at least one more time so I can get some data with my car with a little bit more horsepower. We'll see. Grid, yeah, that's right, Ivan.
Yeah, and then maybe with the Lotus, compared to the Civic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could try to run a Lotus. I still got to fix my clutch, but we'll see. I want to keep it like the same platform. Like the habits you learn in front wheel drive, and just kind of like until I could learn the main differences. I don't want to mix myself up, right? I think all those old reels of me spinning out. I think that was what the problem was switching back and forth between front wheel drive and rear wheel drive, and bad habits. Not gonna like make excuses, but still learning.
No, that was actually it's great that you bring up the bad habits thing today because that was the one thing that from the track that I did with my buddy. I noticed like a very eager novice. They're like lap time.
Oh yeah.
Chasing a number, but there were a lot of bad habits on the street that he had to unlearn first. And I'm like, now's your opportunity, right? Because even for me now, the bad habits I have are so hard to unlearn because I've probably been doing it for 3-4 years wrong. And once you've cemented a bad habit, it's hard to break it. So it's
yeah, that brings up a good.
It's a good approach.
Yeah.
Get all the bad habits out first.
Brings up a good point where, like a good talking point where, I guess a lot of people say that you get bad habits from autocross. Do you think that's something that might be real, or is it kind of just like, oh, people say that because they're hating on autocross?
I'm gonna say no. The reason being, Alwyn, one of the guys with the greatest car control I know in the car, he's a huge autocross guy, and autocross forces you to really exacerbate, weight transfer and car control in a confined environment. I don't think you learn bad habits at autocross. It's just if you cannot implement those and understand what you have to change about those habits for a road course, then it can be bad.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because autocross, the main things it teaches you is feel, because there's no real references you can make in time. Because all learn to feel the car, drive the car, not the line, because there's no line. Exacerbate weight transfer, like really learn to transfer the weight in the car. Eyes up, be very ahead of the car. Now in autocross, you gotta be so much more ahead of the car than you do on the road course, because the next thing is always coming,
Oh.
So, like a slalom, right? Like you have to plan everything out. Like, how do you want to end the slalom when you enter it? Road course, you got to breathe in the straights and stuff like that, which you don't in autocross.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd have to disagree that autocross can teach bad habits. It's just a learning curve on how to implement them on the bigger stage. If you don't get that transition, it can be bad. Usually, if you're good at autocross, you can figure that out pretty well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think maybe the reason why people don't or hate on autocross, well, not really hate, is because they got kind of associate the whole like, you only get a couple minutes of seat time and you're out there all day like moving cones and right. So I don't know. In my opinion, that's probably why people are more upset about it, and they don't give it another shot. But I mean, there's different opinions, and I know it's like highly debated, right? You could go on any YouTube channel or like podcast, and people will just debate that back and forth. So.
Oh yeah, I think the amount of seat time you get is so minuscule in autocross that making meaningful learning out of it is hard for a new guy. But if you can pick up those feelings in that time, it's almost like if autocross gave you 3 times the number of runs. Like I know it's unrealistic, it could never happen, but if you got like 12 to 15 runs, that would be like magic in an autocross course. Right? So you really learn a lot. But in the act of doing, let's say, what you're learning in autocross is pretty invaluable, I think. Some skills that you actually can't learn on the road course that easily. Especially the feel aspect, right? Because like, I could tell you, hey, break in the 2 on a road course, and you'll kind of like, if you trust me, you'll do it. Autocross, I can't really give you anything like that. It's like, oh, break at that pebble. There's like nothing to really think of for references. It's all just like feel it out, right? Your first lap is like a throwaway, but it teaches you a lot. And the second one's usually one where people go quick, right? So it's definitely one of those things where I think autocross really builds instinctual drivers, which is really neat.
Okay. Just two different, I guess, breeds. And then, like, in the long run, I guess everything settles out, right? Like,
Yeah, I've seen that like a lot of really fast road course time trial guys do a lot of SCCA Pro Solo.
okay.
Like Tom O'Gorman, then there was Danny Pop, who was like the ultimate street car champion. He did a lot of autocrossing. Randy Pope,
Oh, yeah.
famous example. And one thing I've read was that was like pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, except for the turn in a little early, but yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, it's like somebody once told me like a great autocross guy can pick up a road course, but a road course guy can't necessarily do autocross. And I firmly believe that. Like, I don't see how you could be bad at or good at autocross and bad on a road course. But I
Okay.
can see people get flustered from the road course and not do autocross so well. But I do agree that like if you're trying to learn in the beginning, the seat time, the cost to seat time from a budget standpoint, the track days give you so much more. Because yeah, you're paying like 5 times as much, but you're getting 20 times the seat time. Like you get at least 2 hours out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
And here you're talking about maybe 5 minutes to 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think one session of 20 minutes is longer than the whole all the seat time you get at an autocross event, right? And you're out there the whole day.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which, you know, in turn, there's that other aspect of it too. Like if you're a person like doing data analysis or something with me, it's just impossible in autocross. Physically impossible. There's no time.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you're doing, well, you can do the data review, but you can't implement it.
Yeah. Like you said, the first session is kind of dedicated to the track layout, right? And even in data analysis, you have to learn the track. I guess you could walk it, right? You have to make the solo learn the track, but
yeah. So to me, I think it's like with the track day, you have at least usually an hour in between sessions, so you can download some main data, look at it with a buddy, figure out a game plan for the next session, and then like learn throughout the day. Autocross puts you more in a hot seat of like, oh, you got 5 minutes to figure out what you did wrong last time. Excellent pick at turn 1, by the way.
oh yeah, I was like feeling good about it, and then I messed up 2 or 3.
Or 3, yeah. Or 3. But that one was like pretty good.
Yeah. Man, by the end of the day, I was kind of like, I wish I could do that one, like, more than the rest of the turn. You know what I mean? Like, you wish you could just go back in time and like, let me just repeat the one, or let me just keep learning and practicing, right? I mean, I saw what was good about the sim, right? I guess that's another thing. You know, like, people say, okay, autocross is a good introduction to road course. Is sim racing a good introduction to road course? I mean, like, we believe it, like all the guys in the chat, right? Me, you, right? It's good.
Oh yeah.
It's not, definitely doesn't replace real seat time, but it's, you know, it helps.
Yeah, I mean the quirks of a car, a real life car, obviously, and like it's actually fun. I was watching a video just like a couple hours back, like a GT3 driver who's in like the Fanatec GT Championship here, and drives an AMG GT3, so more qualified than I'll ever be. And he was talking about iRacing. He's like, iRacing's the best sim, but even then, it doesn't get everything right about it, driving a car. So nothing ever replaces true seat time, but I mean, a sim, you're talking about, I'll give you the best example, my personal example. I was at Barber almost a month ago, right? and I had done no practice in sim. All I had was watching probably compiled 1 hour of Ferrari's video and like the guys from ASM, like Andy Simetgard's video of there, which Andy talks about each turn in detail, which is nice. But I really only pieced together the track. It was a NASA event, so Saturday, Sunday. I only got a great feel of the track once I got some open room on Sunday. Saturday was a complete throwaway, and I'm in TT, right? So throwaways just suck because it's like I'm here, I can't even compete, I don't even know what I'm doing. The second I get some clear air, it's like, okay, now let's learn the track. I only got like a lay of the land, and like my fast lap I set at the very last session of the last day kind of thing. Like, it was a do or die lap to get that second place. Had I had a sim, had I put in 50 to 100 laps for that performance I did at the very end of Sunday, I guarantee you I could have done first dry session Saturday. Like without a doubt, I could have put down that 42 that I put down on the Saturday morning session. Because conditions were the same, you know, for the Saturday noon session as they were for the Sunday night session. And so everything else was the same. Traffic was weaning out by the noon session on Saturday. So, you know, for somebody who's competing, right, like once you get into competition environment, that the sim would have been like paid its weight off in gold if I could have just been able to be competitive prior. So for me, it's like that was actually like I was putting off the sim for Sunday, but literally the second I get back from Barbara, I texted Duncan and I was like, good, let's order everything right here, right? I'm not having that happen again.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it could have saved you a whole day, right?
Yep.
And that's like if you take the cost of a track day, divide it into half, that's like one piece of the sim, and then you do that multiple times for different tracks, right? And you're kind of like, it kind of pays itself if you're not wasting days at the, like learning the layout.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, yeah. I'm kind of excited to see your setup because it's like, you're getting a frame too, right, and everything, not just like what I'm doing on the desk.
Yeah, gonna have the TRA track racer setup. I got the Husinko pedals because I'm very particular about pedal feel, and I heard those were like the best. And I mean, I just played around with them in my hands.
Okay.
They feel like legit pedal. They feel nicer than the car's pedals. So,
oh, nice.
That might actually be a handy thing. And then I got pretty much the same wheel as you, the Fanatec DD Pro, but just the non-Gran Turismo version because I'm gonna do it all on PC.
Yeah, I mean, like, so after buying this, I'm kind of like, okay, it kind of is good for like when I play GT7, but otherwise it's just okay. Like the plastic quick release feels like it's gonna break. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of wish I got like a metal. I mean, I know you could upgrade it, but.
So yeah, I did get the Club Sport and Podium wheel itself.
Okay.
So I have the Club Sport or the Podium hub. Yeah, the Podium hub. And then Club Sport Porsche wheel. And then the Podium Endurance one layout. So it's like the closest thing to normal road car, right? A circular wheel. But the base itself will be the Fanatec 8mm like entry level direct drive setup. I also wonder if you put that on frame instead of table frame, because it's probably just pinched on the bottom, like 2 spots, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder if it'll feel more sturdy when it's got like 4 screws at the bottom of it, so it can't shimmy or anything like that.
Yeah, I think for sure.
There's a lot of like sim, what I've noticed, and telling me is a lot of sim quality feel comes from the stiffness of the frame, like whatever is putting it all together, right? Because your car is super stiff in that sense. It's all steel construction. So mimicking that the best you can with your rig is pretty key.
Yeah, I think like the wheel part is decent as far as the clamp, but definitely the pedals. Like it slides around on the carpet, and yeah, it flips forward. So you definitely need, like that sturdiness, like you were talking about, right? For the pedals, at least. Right now, I'm like braking really hard, and I'm holding it down with my left foot. So it's not flipping forward, but no complaints. I guess I ordered the frame, a better frame. It's not really like a full sit-down frame because I need to sit up for the stream, but.
Yo, which one did you get? Like a play seat or something?
Yeah, like not a play seat. What do they call it? It's one of the common brands, but they call it like just like a standing, not standing, but like I forget what they call it, but it's not the play seat. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I still have to use my little office chair.
Honestly, play seats aren't bad. I mean, I played on one of them and they clamp down the pedal, like if it's a pedal box assembly. Very decent. It gets a job done. Mainly, it sits you in an attitude that's more like a car too, and keeps the pedals from running away from you.
Yeah.
And lets you screw the wheelbase into something solid, which helps. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been putting it off for way too long, so now that I compete in TT, if I go to a random track in the middle of nowhere, I need to know that place fairly detailed before I even show up. So.
Oh yeah, especially if you're going to be teaching people, right?
Yeah, too. Also, as an instructor, if somebody's like, "Where do I brake?" I don't want to be saying, I don't know. How about here?
It's like I broke here once when last time I.
And yeah, last time I crashed.
Yeah, so I took a lot of your advice at last time, or when I went to Daytona, so I got pretty decent times. I know here I'm like consistent 220s, but in the actual at the track, I was actually getting, if I have the data real quick. All right, so I was getting, I think I texted you the time I got.
Yeah, I think you said 25.
Yep, 25 fours, and I think that beat my previous Civic time by like 5 seconds, like, which is pretty nuts because it's just driver mod, right? The car is pretty much the same as it was last time I went, and I actually ended up being faster than my Lotus, which was also nuts because the Lotus has a lot more top speed and acceleration, right? So kind of made me excited, like, okay, this Civic has a little bit more than what I thought, right? So maybe I could actually one day hit the 220 or 219 if I do a little bit more power mods, because I explained, like, I couldn't get into 6 the whole time, and like in the sim I can, right? So I think you're right, there is some drag that the game's not taking into account for, right? And yeah, I just feel like
yeah, like for example, what your exit speed and entry speed and bus stop on the sim versus real life would be, So if we had the aim data, we could see like what your lowest speed and bus stop was, and if it's like 6 miles an hour, let's say 7 miles an hour lower than the sim, there might be something there in terms of like you get to use 6th in the sim because you can do that. Or it could be, game is not representing aero drag that well compared to the real car. So, hard to tell without the data, but it would be nice to see the comparison.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think maybe Wednesday I'll just like send me like what I mean, I could try to look it up, see what I need to do to prep, so that we're not sitting around the whole stream like trying to figure out how to upload the data. But maybe I could send it to you ahead of time, and yeah, we can compare.
I could screen share, yeah, if you wanted me to. Oh, yeah. Once you set that up.
And the main things you're looking for, I'm guessing it's like speed out of turns, right? And I guess the smoothness of how much you're braking, I guess. I mean, those are the, like, the main
Yeah.
points, yeah.
So the thing, especially when you see those graphs, the hard thing to see is smoothness is an illusion, right? Like you want to be smooth, of course, but the x-axis on the graph is length on the track, like number of feet into a lap, right? Like 1,000 feet, 2,000, 3,000, blah, 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 yada. So to see a smooth transition, you have to zoom in really close to the valleys and peaks of the speed. It looks like good data actually looks very lead off. Like you have very peaky peaks, mountain peaks, and very peaky valleys. That means you are not coasting and the car isn't in a unloaded state for a long time. The actions in the car have to be smooth, but you're never gonna see the smoothness in the graph. The main thing you want to look for in a graph is like, let's say you're accelerating in your car and I'm doing the same thing. Let's say we have the same car. And on the graph, you have a valley or you have a mountain peak and it's happening before, like a little bit to the left of mine. That tells me you're braking earlier by a X number of feet than I am. So that's something I'd say is like, oh, you're braking 100 feet before I am. And then it's like the angles, right? If it's really coming down, like if it's a hard braking zone we need, and you're kind of like, your line is got a gradual descent, but mine's got a more abrupt one, it's like you're not using full brake pressure, yada, yada, yada. It's hard to explain without a visual, but we can definitely do that. We can definitely do that with like some firm data if you want to. I mean, I know Daytona, I don't have Daytona data, but I can maybe compare your firm versus my firm kind of thing to give you an idea of how to use the data for yourself. Like we can look at both. We can look at Daytona by itself and then like my firm data versus your firm data.
Okay.
And then see if it's, yeah.
And I think for me, I haven't gotten firm data yet because I didn't have my
Oh, you just got paid?
yeah. But I maybe what we could do is compare my Daytona data to, like, I don't know, Moni's or something if he's willing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we could use whoever else has a name, you know, if Ian's got a name, if Moni's got a name, or I can usually, if you're looking for like seconds, like realistically you're looking for a couple seconds, the comparison within itself is not that hard to make, you know? So we'll figure something out to do.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a, I guess, does it do theoretical if it collects all your data?
Oh yeah,
Does
we
it?
could do everything. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If you send
nice.
me multiple data files, we can do a theoretical best. Um, which really that's helpful too. That if the gap between your theoretical best and your true best is big, that's a sign of inconsistency,
Hmm.
right? Like at the firm at this point, because I've been so much, my PB and theoretical are separated by like 0.3 of a second. So it's like hard to find an that way I know I'm not inconsistent there.
Yeah.
Now, have I just not tried something that could be making me faster? Very much so. But that's the first thing to work on is like that's a concern. If the like at Daytona, if your theoretical versus actual is more than 2 seconds, 2.5, that's like really a sign of inconsistency or something like that. Within a second would actually be kind of a good sign. You know,
Yeah.
Daytona's a big track, so, and with Daytona, one turn on the exit to these banking sections, if it's messed up, then that's a lot of time lost on the straight that comes up. So, kind of exaggerates it a little more than the firm might.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess like I see like Jamie was in the chat earlier. You know, guys like us are data driven, so
Mm-hmm.
it's just like You know, it's kind of boggles me that I haven't been looking at the data before, but it's all I do at work, and that's all these guys do at work, and that's what you do, right? Data.
Yeah.
So
Do you have Sebring data?
I do. Maybe not
That would be a
like
good one to make comparison of.
yeah. No. I,
Like, do you know what your PB was there though?
Ooh.
Like you might have had so much traffic in D1 and 2.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't have. I didn't never uploaded the aim data, but I do have it on
Mhm.
my little like GPS track app, which is kind
Mm.
of accurate, but not really. Let's pull it up. The second day I did a lot better, obviously. Uh, June 24th. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, 25th.
Yeah,
Um,
June 24, 25. Yeah.
oh, that's not right. It looks like a short lap. 2:53, right?
That sounds like a decent like. That sounds like a believable lap, and but the problem is like without it being aim data, I don't have the speed traces,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
which would help. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll use it. We'll use the Daytona stuff. We'll find something.
Okay. Yeah, we could. I'll put it. We have a Google Drive where we share all the data, and I don't know if anyone else has been putting it in there, but yeah, I could put it in there and then invite you so you could look at the data as well, and we could kind of figure something out. I think actually Dave just like logged in. Hey Dave.
What's up, everybody?
What's
Oh boy.
You said data. My ears were on fire.
up? Yeah, what's your perspective on data? It's like, yeah, you're the data guy
They don't call
too.
me
Right?
Data Dave. Yeah, they don't call me Data Dave for no reason.
His data will
miss?
make everybody sad, but we can
No.
use it.
That's true. That is true. What are you guys looking at?
So we had Daytona this week with SCCA, and I have my data. I think Wednesday we'll probably do a data dive, and I'll upload it so that we all could look at it. I think I beat my PB by about 5 seconds between now and back when I guess I didn't have as much seat time and with Neil's coaching. So I think it'd be good data to look at and see where I could gain more time. My goal was to beat my Lotus time in the Civic, and I ended up doing that. But now it's like, looking at the sim, there's theoretical 220s in there, right? So maybe I could get there, but 5 seconds, we'll see. I don't know if I could get five whole seconds.
Yeah. If Money had data.
I think, and then when he's listening, but I don't know if he's been chatting, but I think he was running his aim. I know Ian was, but that's a little bit different platform, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, me and David share data, and we got different street tire versus Hoosier. There's still something to be gained, from
Yeah.
it. Usually, especially at like this level, like when I was first learning from Dave, it was still, man, am I within 3 miles an hour on his min speeds, or am I like 10 miles an hour off, kind of thing?
Yep. Exactly.
Because then the nitty gritty is like, oh, do I really have that extra mile an hour or two to close the gap between them, or do I not? But if you're like 9 miles an hour off, it's like any tire could do that, almost within reason, kind of thing. So a lot of what I like to teach with the data is like, let's say your min speed out of the apex is like 40 and mine is 60. It's like, okay, next time you're out there, just try to hit 50, and see how 50 is like close the difference between the two. Don't try to really just hit 60 right then and there, but 50 is probably doable,
Yeah, that's true. You can kind of like pick out, what's realistic and what's not. Like I could definitely make up time here because this looks a little bit more realistic, or a smaller bite to bite versus trying to go for like the overall lap time, right?
Oh yeah, and you really don't want to be trying like you want to be working on like a couple corners at a time. If you're like, oh, at Sebring, if I came up to you and was like, oh, you need to work on 1, 5, 4, 6, 13, and 17, you're not gonna be able to do them all. So it's like focus on 2, how'd that feel? Okay, next time focus on another 2, how'd that feel? And then last session, like string it together.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know, with the sim, you can kind of do the same thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. The sim's the best way to. Then everything's an unlimited session, right? So it's like 3 laps, 4 laps. I'll just focus on these couple turns.
Mhm.
And next 3, 4 laps, I'll just focus on these. Okay, now how do I string both of these together if they're successive turns?
Wow. But you know what? I just realized you rear-wheel drive guys are starting to outnumber us front-wheel drive guys on the stream. So.
It's how nature intended it.
Well, at least the Honda guys are outnumbering you, Neil. So.
Oh yeah, I'm all by myself over here.
All good.
Unless I join the sudden urge for everybody to K-swap their BRZs and FRSs. But
Get FL5, right?
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, it ain't cheap. Anyone who says it's cheap, it's not cheap. It's 15 grand at least to do that swap. And that's just tossing the K in. If you want like a high-strung, racy K, talking 20 grand, right? All in, maybe you might be able to do it. Let alone you want an F2000 transmission, which will feel nicer with that.
Hmm.
But nah, too expensive.
Yeah, it is getting pretty
My hopes are
costly.
set on the my hopes are set on the FA24. They're
Okay.
making some good progress on swapping that in. It's been done in like Malaysia already, and one team in Germany. It's been done here in the U.S., but the guys who've done it are keeping secrets on how they use the stock ECU to do it. So.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's been done in a relatively short time means it will be out there, and you can always do standalone with all new wiring if you don't want to be patient.
Yeah, I mean, I stand behind the K series and these front-wheel drive setups. I mean, 9th gen I know is not as popular as the 8th, but I know there's you can't really be too harsh on the platform, right? It's still okay, but there's a little bit of work that needs to be done, but it's all good.
Oh yeah, no, I love the K. Like, as a motor is what it is. I mean, it's funny. I own a Subaru, but my love for cars is high revving, no torque, make up for the torque with gearing kind of cars, which is the exact opposite ethos of a Subaru. But
So you're an AP1 guy then, right?
well, when it comes to the S2000, I do like the AP2 drivetrain more.
Okay.
Just having that extra bit of torque, it's a little bit more forgiving. But like Dave's setup is like the theoretical best setup, right? AP1 chassis with an AP2 drivetrain.
Oh, it's no longer even that anymore, buddy. It's all custom stuff.
Oh
So.
well, yeah, you're just like if you look at all in the old D Sport magazines when they write like engine custom, gearbox custom, it's just as custom all the way down.
Yeah, that's basically what it's become now.
And you are still, you still have an F in there, David? I forgot. I think.
Yes, it is a variant of an F.
Yeah.
We'll say that much. Yes.
The work was done by who, or was it all just custom by you and like a machine shop and all that, or?
No, I had a friend in Nashville build this motor for me. I do everything else, but I don't build motors. So I had him build me the motor, and yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, nice. I love the setup. It's like the dream, right? And it's a very reliable, right?
Yeah, we built a very, very reliable, very decent making power motor this time around. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, that's good. One day I'll have an S2K again, but I don't know. We'll see.
With how much they are, I don't
It's getting worse and worse every time you look.
And honestly, you don't want one because to track them is just not worth it. They're discontinuing parts almost daily now, so you don't want to get into them anymore.
Yeah, I think Blind Apex was talking about how they were stopping some brakes that you guys like to buy, like a lot of blanks. Is it like EBC, moving to EBC now, and people don't really trust EBC? Or there was something.
I'm not sure. I don't care about brake compounds. For me, the fact they discontinued the brake master cylinder is massive.
Bad. Jeez.
Gone. It's gone. Gone. That's
Yeah.
it.
Even, I mean, like, what
They just-
aftermarket options are there? Not really a lot, right? You want to go with the Nissan and the OEM.
I would just OEM, yeah. And they got rid of that back in March or April. They just gone, discontinued it. No more.
Ah.
So, yep.
So yeah, there is a end of life kind of target, yeah, with these kind of like wear and tear parts. You know, you're kind of like, oh, I better start collecting them, right?
Yeah, and then people start collecting.
It just doesn't. It's like that's the thing I will say with new Honda that it's just like they don't care. It's almost like new Honda and new BMW, right? They don't care. Whereas like you can get a Porsche 964 part today, new OEM stock, right? And obviously you pay killer for the car to begin with, and the part's not cheap, but it still exists, right? It just I feel like all these companies are just forgetting their motorsports heritage.
It doesn't make money, man.
It
doesn't
doesn't.
make money.
You're right. It doesn't for them. It's not in their real business model.
It's not.
And you know, everyone's
Yeah.
all about that EV, right? Or they're being forced to go EV, so yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Fortunate. Which reminds me, there's a new. I don't know if you guys saw previews for the Initial D like spinoff. I don't know if you guys saw
Please
that.
don't tell me it has EVs in it.
No, it's about the world has gone EV and they're like the last
Oh yeah,
people.
you're right. And these are the last. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. That I'm all about. But if they were
That's-
about to have like a bunch of Teslas in Initial D,
Oh
it's
no.
like,
that's
I'm
that's
on the
like you
second
guys,
floor of
right?
my
Is it gonna
house.
be?
I'll jump off right now. Like, uh, oh well, it's part of the course. And honestly, this whole EV adoption, I'm about it if it makes our gas cars more valuable. Keep going, keep buying them. Some rich guy out there will want the last raw sports car when they have no choice to
Yeah.
buy anything else. So
Then they collect, right? People will collect gas cars and they'll have the same problem we're having now, less parts and all that, right? So
hey man, if I've had my fun with my car and you want to put it in in your own personal museum just because everything's an EV, by all means, better than seeing you go to a scrapyard.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so I guess you had a good day at the firm. David, did you have a track weekend this week too?
Oh God, no.
No?
I was at Barber with Neil and just testing out the new transmission. And then right now it's just prepping the car, doing a bunch of things to it to get ready for nationals, NASA nationals. The championship is in Pittsburgh in 4 weeks.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's just prepping everything, double checking everything, dotting all my I's, crossing my T's, changing some things on the setup, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's nothing for me until nationals.
Oh man.
Yeah, all this. Yeah, for the sweaty TT guys, it is like crunch time right now.
Yeah, no one's really even going. There's only a couple people. I mean, heading up to Nats. I mean, you know Nick, obviously.
Yeah, Nick's got to have his last hurrah.
Yeah, Soares is gonna put the hurt on him, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's a good championship going on right there. That little
Yeah.
battle between the two of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. Actually, I mean, surprisingly, even though TT4 is small, it's looking like a really good, really hard battle. So,
Georgia going up there, or is some other S2K guy
no,
you got to fight with?
George doesn't leave Florida.
I don't know. Something you're right. I've only seen him at Sebring.
Yep.
So,
Yep. No, that's the way that it goes. Homestead and Sebring, and when it used to happen, Palm Beach, and then the couple times we went to Daytona with NASA, the year we had nationals there. So, yep. But, yep. 4 more weeks, man. There's a lot left to do.
That's a lot of pressure. I don't know like if I could ever get into competing like you guys.
It's It's a lot, man, especially this.
That's what I thought, you know. And then they, it's weird. Like I thought I'd never do that, get to that level of it. And of course, my first out of state event was only just a month ago, so I can't say I'm like as vested in it as Dave is. But when your buddies are going, like especially as you guys progress through DE together, that natural feel, I don't know, for me came out. Okay, everybody's doing TT, but might as well. But I will say the biggest thing that makes it feasible, truck and trailer, you know. Otherwise, it is kind of hard. Like it really, I couldn't imagine whether you rent or buy it. I couldn't imagine doing TT, especially competitively, without having at least like a support vehicle and having like your slicks or your pump tires, you know, in pristine condition coming to the track.
Cause you got
That's my take. I've never seen anyone be able to fully pull that off. I don't know. Dave has more experience than I do, but without trailering, I've never seen anyone not trailer to a TT event.
that would be kind of nuts, especially with I guess like with the different TT levels. You have like, you know, like some cars don't have AC or interior, but I mean, you know, it'd be hard to kind of show up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then most of the winners are always on roofs or some form of slick, right? So
Yeah,
how do you
usually.
get there? Yeah. How do you get there without trailering? Throw.
You kind of got to ask yourself at that point, when you're moving your way through DE, do you want to compete? Yes or no? Well, if you want to compete, how competitive do you want to be? You want to be a class filler and just go out there and have fun? Or are you actually trying to compete and push yourself in the car to its absolute limit? And once you decide that, if you're happy with parking street tires and driving to events, cool, that's fine. You just can't get mad if you're 6 seconds off the pace of the car that you're competing against. But yeah, that's a choice you'll have to make in the future.
Yeah, I guess there's that, like, I guess the not the step change, but there's the progress you make from when you go from DE to taking TT seriously, right? And I guess that's like part of it. You know, you don't see the top guys, you know, showing up in the car they want to run.
And I mean, like to Dave's point too, is like we actually even brought this up at Barber because there was like 50 some TT cars out there all together. Keep in mind we all have to go out in one session together, so you could share the track with a Radical or a retired Lamar prototype. Honestly, it happened at Sebring for us. If you just want to casually do TT and you're just aware that you don't impede anyone on the fast line, no one's gonna throw a fit as long as you're aware of what's coming. I've never had like a slow aware driver cause problems. It's like fast unaware drivers
Low and
or
aware
ones
drivers.
that think they are fast too. That's like, you know, it's not even like TT. It's not like cutthroat in the sense of you're ruining my lap or something. Like if you're aware, it's not bad.
Okay.
I think that's the main thing is awareness. But if you want to just use it as a platform to learn for yourself, I don't think there's a real barrier to joining as long as you're a true TE4 driver who doesn't impede coming into it.
Yeah, you kind of recognize.
250 lap time around, so it doesn't bother me one bit as long as you're not ruining it for everybody else. I mean, for me, example, like I'm doing 232s right now, and you know, I've yet to impede of somebody else's fast lap where cars can be doing 219s, 220s for Dave and stuff like that. It's just be aware of your mirrors if you're a TT5 guy. It's natural, it's gonna happen. Cars are just slower.
Yeah, and that's where spending time in DE4 and playing with open traffic really helps, obviously, with the transition to TT, if you spend your time playing with traffic. Mixing it up, taking passes, being passed, so on and so forth.
And I guess that's the. I mean, like, are there license requirements, or are you kind of just like do your due diligence and get to 4 and then kind of learn all that, you know, and then go into TT, or are there licenses with NASA?
There's a TT license, yes, a TT
Okay.
and a race license, and you don't get your TT license. So what happens is you make it from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you obviously I'll say try out, but yeah, you go out for TT. If they give you the okay, then you go on probation for a weekend, which means that you basically do an entire weekend every session, and you can't spin, you can't crash, you can't impede people. You have to go and have basically a perfect weekend. You don't have to run PBs, stuff like that, but you just need to go out there and show that you're competent. You can, be out in DT without being a menace. And once you pass that, then they give you your license.
Okay, like just a clean the whole day clean, pretty much.
Whole
Whole
weekend.
whole weekend.
Whole
yeah.
weekend. Okay.
So if you loop it on, middle of the way through Sunday after going Saturday and then obviously to Sunday, nope, back to DE4, you go. So yeah, you can ask Neil. Neil did it a lot more recently than I did. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the only pass you get is another 6 sessions, 6 to 7 sessions for the whole weekend. If you want to skip out that last Sunday to go home,
yeah.
they got an idea about you. It's definitely, my weekend was kind of stressful for me a little bit because we had like DPI cars out there with reasonably quick drivers. So they're doing like 2-minute, 2-second lap times, 2-minute 6s. So they come up on your butt real quick. So don't impede them, don't get caught. So like racing and TT, you have impound afterwards. So you don't go straight back to your garage stall or paddock and have some Cheerios and a Pepsi. You have to sit in impound. So, and that's where you talk about like, hey, is the session good for everybody? Yada yada. If you get called out, they'll be like, okay, are you really a PT driver? So it's like almost, don't be the guy that gets called out in impound. So, don't spin it. Don't have a full rob. Don't impede people obscenely in a weird way,
Yeah.
There might be an impediment that happens at one, but you shouldn't be repeatedly called out for it. Don't miss impound your first time out there. Usually every region has their own way of doing it. Some TT directors like only come back impound first session of the morning because that's the most likely time anyone's going to PB. They're like, unless you PB again later in the day, there's no need to come back there. But that's the thing you check with your
That's how
director on how they want to do it.
that's how NASA runs it, right? I mean, other organizations run it a little bit different, or are they kind of similar?
Even regions will be a little bit different, like historically speaking, like NASA Great Lakes I've heard is very strict. So it's like impound every session. NASA Florida were a little bit more lax. Barber actually kind of turned a little bit more lax than I expected given the crowd. Grid was a little bit of a joke, I mean, it was just a busy event, so I'm not going to point fingers at anybody, but, something we do in TT is like, as the times progress and you get faster, you should be moving up grid spots. Well, on Sunday, I started 30th, right? And then I actually started getting quicker midway through Sunday. They're like, okay, still 30th. It's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because I know now I'm actually proving I'm quicker than, 15 of the guys ahead of me. I should be like 12 on this grid. So it's like, I think that Florida honestly has pretty good keep up with the grid spots.
Used to.
Yeah. And
shit.
it's gotten a little bit bad, but still at least there's a little bit of a refresh. That weekend at Barber, we got no refresh on Sunday, and I'm like, come on, like, I've taken 7 seconds out of my lap time. Like, I should be up a little bit higher.
How's that because other people were doing it too, or maybe they were just distracted or not?
It was just a hectic event, so
Okay.
they weren't actually having somebody police it,
Okay.
It's one of those things where the director's doing their thing, yada yada. So there's nobody actively going in there and changing all these spreadsheets. You basically get texted or have to go on the website and check where your grid sheet in the next 20 minutes is, right? So for TT guys, it does. You know, our weekends get really hectic here in Florida because it's like you go run your TT, you get out of your car. Usually, right after that, you have to go be with your student, or before you have to be with your student. Then you get like a 25-minute break to check your car, check where you're on grid, make any setup changes you want, be on grid early, get in your grid spot, and then go out. Because if you're not at grid, you kind of ruin it for everybody else. If you show up late to grid on TT, you can be Sebring, it's okay, but like a smaller track like Barber, if you're late to grid, you could be that lone car that everybody's got to work around now.
Oh. And you might not be with your group, right? I mean, they let you guys out by, I guess, times?
The grid is dictated. I'll let David talk to it.
Yeah, and you're just gridded by time. So for NASA Florida, since you're a Florida guy, obviously the first session in the morning's qualifying. And obviously whatever lap time you do, we grid according to those. So you could be a TT1 car in the front of the field. You could have a TT5 car in front of a 3 and a 4 car. It just depends on how fast of a lap that you did. And then just like Neil was talking about before, as the day goes on and people go faster and faster, the list reorganizes so that they should, in theory, if everyone did their fastest lap from fastest car out there to slowest car, when you all go out, technically you should never ever overlap each other because the car in front of you is technically a little bit faster. So you should never catch each other, supposedly. It doesn't always happen.
Wow. Yeah, I noticed Florida was a little, when we went for Sebring as our first time, I think, running with Florida, and they weren't updating the calendar, and I guess, yeah, you're right, it was a hectic weekend, right, with all the rain and all that. I figured they would update the calendar, but they weren't. So. Kind of weird. Weird first impression for us, I guess.
What you meant was that?
It was a weird first impression for us of Florida, running NASA Florida.
The June event?
It was a June?
Yeah.
Oh, the one I wasn't there for, okay. Nice.
We're used to, I guess, Southeast, as soon as there's some issue, right, they update the calendar live online, and even with all the rain delays and all that, they still didn't update the calendar, or the timesheet, and yeah, it was a little hectic, but, I mean, it's just DE, so we got over it.
Yeah, no, I know Jim usually has that done, but I know they were having issues with Google Sheets this year with all kinds of issues with the website, Google the Sheets thing. So yeah, that's something I can tell them, some feedback if they aren't updating it, because if there's delays and stuff like that, it sucks not knowing when you go out next, because it could be you're like, oh, I go out in 30 minutes, and then you see people rolling from your DE group to grid, and you're like, oh shit. Your shoes, exactly, throwing the crap on, you're all flustered, and then you don't drive well, and yeah, I totally get it. But I will not be there next not this weekend, the weekend after. I will not be there for that. So, Neil, are you going?
I am. I'm doing a little bit of coaching with Alliance, coaching one of Lucas's guys too. So
Okay.
be there. And
Are
then
you
one of the
driving?
yeah,
Are you
might as well if
going?
I'm gonna be there. Might as well get some laps down and
Cool.
get my freebie TT5 points at this point. You
Yeah.
get 1 to 2 TT5 guys out there, whatever. And as long as they're not named Nick Joseph, I'm pretty much a shoe-in for it. So.
Yeah, you gotta. You could put together a good TT5 group for next year.
No, I really want to. I want this whole firm group. Ed would be good. Zach would be good to be out
Alex would be great to have out there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, huge. And then DJ, when he gets his stuff fixed, I mean, that if you get a good group of 5, I mean, that's all.
It
you
would
need.
make it fun. Yeah. Right now it's not. Nothing pushing. It's just not hard. My own personal push is just December. I want to do a cold weather 230.
Okay, doable.
Like-
That should be easily doable. Easy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's very doable.
Are you making any changes to the setup? Tire?
I want to try to finish out the REs and do a 230 this year on that. This is just my hypothetical. I was talking to somebody else about it, just on IG. If the TT5 rule changes go the way I think, I'm hoping I could just run current weight Hoosier next year, 2024.
Change.
I mean, I'm expecting either, like, I don't understand why we did that 14 and a half for the class from 14 to 1, or the A-arm pen. Huh?
You can blame Nick on that one.
That's why. It's getting back up, yeah. Or they do an AR penalty. Or I just suck it up and, you know, if that doesn't happen at 30 pounds of ballast, and I can do Hoosiers right now, right? 2750, I can run Hoosiers.
Okay.
Screw it, run it. And that could do a 229, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
The way it sits. Low 229. So, because as I've been getting comfortable with Sebring, it's all been on the same set RA71 RSs. So, my thing is like learn, and then go on the purple crack. And then it should just come to me super easy. And now I got the sim. So that's got to be worth half second of.
Oh, easily. Oh, easily. As long as are you running single, triple, or VR?
I'm going to run a single for now. And then if that doesn't work, go to VR probably. Yeah.
I can't not use VR. Now again, high quality VR, not a cheap heavy.
No, if I'm gonna do, yeah. The only reason I'm trying the single out is I got a 120-inch laser projected screen in the house, so my FOV should be pretty good even with the single.
120? Are you just sitting in front of a wall?
No, I got well, my dad's super into like audio video, so in the house he did a home theater setup, so we got that. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, if it's here, let me try it out, you know, before I go to the VR setup.
But you're looking at a 10-foot screen.
Yes.
God. Oh
but
God. So
I will
good.
be. I won't be close to it either. I'm gonna be probably 4 feet. I think like I can get a good FOV with it. If it doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't work out.
Sure,
But
sure.
I think if I sit 4 feet away from it, I should be like if my rig's 4 feet away, which is doable in that room. I should be able to have like a really good side, you know, peripheral view, all with one screen. But if it don't work out, it don't work out.
And it's not curved, right?
Oh no, sheet flat.
Yeah.
It's just on a you know,
What's
projector
the,
screen.
Okay.
What's the response time on it?
It says 144 hertz, so it should be capable of keeping up with, you know, 100 frames per second. I've watched, you know, just to sample it, 4K 60 frame per second like sample videos on YouTube. Now, of course, it's not the same input as a game is, but still, it was able to keep up with that. So until I tested that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of your steering input to the time it appears on the screen. Like if it's going to be, what the delay is actually. So I don't know, it could be a millisecond. I have no clue. I'm very curious how that all goes.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone do a home theater setup with a sim competitively. So, but I'm like, you know what? I got the opportunity to test it. Let's test it. You know,
Because you got the TR8. Yeah, the TR8. Did you get the one with the monitor mount for it or no?
I did not get the monitor mount, not expecting to do the monitor, but I can always add it.
I mean, you said your end game was VR, right? So. I mean...
Yeah, and then if I end up going VR, do that.
You'll never go back, I promise.
Yeah. So being able to look around on demand is very nice.
Yes, that is very nice. Just trying to think what else.
But as far as like the hardware, you know, I got 8-newton-meter DD wheel, fanatec, around Porsche steering wheel, the podium or the Pub Sport. I think the Pub Sport, but with the podium hub and podium button and paddle. The shifter, the fanatec shifter, so I
Good, thank you.
Yep. And then TR8 rig with the mouse and keyboard.
Good.
I already have the PC, and then the Husenfeld pedals, because I was like, I wanted those for sure, the sprints.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing the shifter. I ordered it, but it's still not here yet.
Good. No, that's it's a must for this kind of stuff. On the, what'd you just say, Neil? Just thinking. What GPU are you running?
The 30, I believe I have a 3070 or 3080.
Okay, good, excellent. That's plenty for anything that you're gonna come across.
Yeah.
So-
i5 10 core, so the PC's overbuilt for this anyway. Oh,
I
that's
hear you.
what-
Perfect. Okay, so you're all set up. Nice. When does it all arrive?
The pedals already came. The
Nice.
half of the fanatec order is gonna be here Wednesday, at least. The rig is just what I'm really waiting for. It seems like it's gonna be a week or two.
Worth it.
Yeah, orders in, so can't do much but wait.
Exactly.
Then I'll set it up. I really want to be starting doing the 50 to 100 laps of the place at minimum before I go there.
Dude.
Kind of-
Oh, more than that. I mean, for me right now, my plan is I'm running Assetto Corsa in the CR, and I'm doing my goal is 500 laps before Nats.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
500 laps is about 17 hours, so
Yeah.
it's not that much.
Yeah, if you partition it out, you're gonna learn more by doing 50 a day versus, oh crap, it's tomorrow, I'm doing 200 now.
It's just racing like anything else in the world. Basketball, soccer, pool, anything. It's just muscle memory. That's all literally this is. Literally, it's all it is. You got your foot, leg muscles, your arm muscles, and your eyes. That's all. As long as you just program them, it's just, you can be on autopilot for a lot of stuff. So,
Speaking of autopilot, somehow Wendell, you just knocked out at some point. I actually saw it. I didn't point it out right when you did it. You knocked out at 215 while we, or 219.5 while we were just randomly talking.
I
Yeah.
can't see it because it's a small screen.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
the
you
whole
got
time.
yourself- Yeah, I can't.
Oh.
I can't quite see it.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, I've been watching it on the Discord, and like when we were talking about
You see
in-town,
that?
when we were talking about in-town, I didn't point it out then, but I just saw you just whip out a random casual 19.6. Damn. I'm not gonna tell him until we get a break and talking.
Yeah, I think it's all about, like you guys said, the repetition, right? And it's like, even though it's kind of like we're chatting here, I could kind of still feel like, oh, that was a good turn, or that was, like understeer or whatever, right? So, yeah, it's like you said, it's repetition, and like I think you guys should start just stream. Like if you're practicing, right? Might as well turn those hours into maybe content or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'm so bad at Wendell, man. I've got the driving. I don't have the technical portion of it all. So
That's
yeah.
pretty easy. I mean, I could walk you through it if you're really interested, but you definitely have like the broadcast kind of personality too, right? So
Hey, I'll take anything at this point. I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever shown you my rig before, but I feel like my rig's pretty decent.
if you guys look in the Discord, everyone's been posting their pictures on there, so we could you have your setup posted in there, and then I could review it. Not review it, but like show it on stream and all that.
Nice.
We could also even
right now.
if you get iRacing, Wendell, we can all get in the same car, like get in the Miata Cup car.
Oh,
together,
nice.
And then do Sebring, all three of us on there together. Duncan can join.
DJ, get everybody together. No, it's good because then you can drive together and you can go, oh, that's what Neil's doing. Oh,
Yeah.
that's how you're supposed to do it. I don't do Assetto Corsa very often. I only use it for tracks that aren't iRacing like it. But I don't even have Daytona in Assetto Corsa. Surprisingly. Or
Yeah, we
the
have
Civic, I don't think.
We have a group share drive where we share all our mods. So I mean,
Oh,
wanna
I'd love to jump in.
get in on that. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what other guys are doing in the Civic. It gives you a good baseline, and then and then what's cool about the Assetto Corsa is that you can save the data, and you can go over the data just like an aim, so you can see exactly where someone's doing better or worse, and learn a lot. So
Yeah, that's true.
that was good there. So
And we also upload our data on the drive too, so that's nice. And I do want to get into iRacing, but right now with like kids and all that, it's kind of like, will I have enough time to really take advantage of the subscription? But I think one day I definitely want to like compete with GT racing on there, like just for fun, right?
Yeah. What you do is when Black Friday happens, you buy a 2-year subscription for half off. It's the best time to do it.
Okay.
So it ends being $100 for 2 years. So Black Friday is a good time to do it. So
Man, I didn't realize they did that.
yeah, exactly for first timers. So yeah, okay. Neil, you're not gonna have a choice. But
Yeah.
if I refer you, I get $5.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Send the link.
Yeah. Wow.
80% of a Subway sandwich.
Yeah, but just like kind of like you're saying, Wendell. Yeah, it's $100 for 2 years. But I mean, I've put into it for buying cars and tracks, and she's put another $500 into it. So, yeah, it sucks, but it is better than Assetto Corsa in the sense of realism, lasers and track. Braking is, yeah. I've been struggling with the CR in Assetto Corsa just because it's just different physics, and I find iRacing's physics to be a little bit more realistic, and the tracks are incredibly, scary realistic in some cases. So something to think about for Black Friday.
Oh yeah, for sure. Man, I didn't realize they had that on Black Friday. Okay, yeah, I could look at that. I know for a while it's been on my wish list, but
Yeah.
the same reasons. I'm like,
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
here.
$100 for 2 years. You're talking like that ends up being nothing, you know.
Yeah. No, again, that doesn't
$5 a month.
make it the math.
But that's a beginning.
Even less than that. Exactly. You got to buy, if you want your TCR Civic Type R, like that's going to be $11.95. So like, then you can add on. But I mean, for the most part, the base content comes with easily enough to get you started. You'll want Sebring, you'll want Daytona, Homestead, Road Atlanta, VIR, anything in the Southeast, Barber, those kinds of things. And you want to go with Road America, Watkins Glen, Mid Ohio, just any of these good tracks. And you just so now you just bought
Yeah, the tracks add up.
12 tracks at $15 a pop. So yeah, I know, but it's like I said, it is worth it, and they're dumping a ton of money into iRacing right now to make it better. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're gonna spend on a good rig, right, you might as well get the best simulation you can get, right?
yep. No, like when I went to Barber my first time 2 years ago, just like Neil was saying, I did about 150 laps in VR, of course, in the Miata, and like showing up at Barber in real life, and I went out my first lap and I was like, I couldn't tell the difference between real life and my sim rig. It was so eerily identical. And I mean, that's VR versus a screen kind of thing, but every bump was in the same spot, the way the car handled, the way the elevation felt, every single thing. So like showing up at a track I've never been to before, I did the track record on the first day. So
Oh, man.
so just like it didn't, just like Neil was saying, like showing to Barber, he felt like he had to take a whole day to learn the track, and it just was difficult enough because it was a cluster of just cars everywhere, so you didn't have a chance to really hammer down. So now you can do 150 laps before you go and show up and go. So, yeah.
That's the selling point for iRacing then, I gotta.
The realism, yeah, it is. Again, Assetto Corsa is great for the modding of it. You can do tracks that are like the firms in Assetto Corsa. I mean, there's those kinds of tail dragons in there, all kinds of like crazy different stuff that's fun to do. But in terms of you want to learn and like sit down and really chip away at your skill, iRacing is the preferred for a lot of people. So, and there are still front-wheel drive cars in the game that would be close to what you have, like the new Renault Clio, the Civic Type R, which is just a much faster version of what you have. But yeah.
Okay.
Christmas list.
Yeah, definitely Black Friday for sure. I'll make sure I add it to the list.
Exactly. So I mean, like literally, if you did just the base game plus 2 cars and like 6 or 7 tracks, you're into it for about $225 or so. So not the end of the world, but yeah, I know it's still, $250,000. It's not anything just to, laugh at. So.
That's like what, a set of pads for the front.
Yeah, it's true. Or I'm not sure, Neil, if you do this running in TT, but you get free Hawk stuff basically. So I haven't bought a set of brake pads in 4 years.
Oh man, I totally
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's also like if you get a large enough TT group, the Hoosiers and stuff like that, the tire contingencies are fantastic.
You need to do that. You need to swap. If you get your group of 5 in there next year, you guys could be winning Toyos or RC or Maxxis every weekend. Which again, I'm surprised you're not running the Maxxis, but if you want to.
But don't you need a minimum for the contingency?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I don't know what Maxxis and what Toyo are. They change every year. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 4. I'm not sure. That's why you need to build your TT5 class as quickly as possible. 1 for the challenge, but 2 so you guys can start getting
competing
free
for
stuff.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
Things. Hey Wendell, just hurry up already and join me in TT.
I have a while to go, right? I gotta go through 4 and all that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
But the guys who've been doing firm TT, we have 13 guys. I remember at the first event. And Brad and his Miata's quick, Cade's quick,
Yeah.
Ed, Alex, DJ, everyone's. If you're like sub-teens, in the teens in TT5, there's like no excuse not to come out. It's close enough.
It's true. I can't figure out why nobody from that group wants to do the NASA stuff. So I mean, it isn't cheap. It isn't cheap at all. I'm aware of that part. So
That's true. I guess we get spoiled a little bit as instructors. We think it's just lodging and a vacation for us, but
it's not.
Other people who aren't. Yeah.
I mean, hell, when I started 8, 9 years ago, Sebring was only $300 a weekend, and now it's like almost $600.
Yeah.
So it's basically doubled, and I get it. So you've got $600 for that. You have about $300 of lodging. You have all the gas. You would have any brake pads and stuff like that. So you're into it for, well over $1,000. You're into it for $1,200 or so for a weekend. So it's like, and then you go to the firm and it costs them either nothing because they're members, or it's $200 or $250. So it's like, I get it. It's just there's a lot more out there than just the firm.
That's right. And you go to a different track, and then you come back to the firm and you realize how much faster you can be because you haven't had the firm doesn't give you enough. I feel oh shit moments. There's one place, right? The rest of it's like, okay, this is. But the quickest progression I made, even coming back to the firm, was after doing Sebring. The Sebring the first time scares you, and then you're like, okay. And then once you get okay with Sebring, you never get fully okay with it, but going back to the firm is not that. I think I'm glad I did Sebring before I ever did Barber. Barber didn't really scare me ever. It's just not as intimidating of a track. There's some elevation change, but that's about it. So getting exposure to different tracks helps you grow as a driver.
I always say each track you go to teaches you something new and unique that you can carry to a different track. So, Sebring is obviously you've got to deal with bumps, so you're dealing with throttle application, extreme heat, getting used to that in terms of a driver and car. Barber is you've got so many, every single corner is a blind corner. It's either a blind crest over or a blind drop. So Barber teaches you about that. Road Atlanta is just teaches you to have balls and stay in it because the elevation and it's fast. Barber is super flowy. It's like a roller coaster, but it all flows together and it's beautiful. Road Atlanta's got bigger elevation, but it's more chopped up and it doesn't flow. It's just very fast. You make a mistake at Road Atlanta, you're probably going to total the car. Roebling is all about blind long sweepers, and it's about throttle application, getting the car to rotate. I just think another track off the top of my head.
VIR's all of them combined.
VIR can be like all of them combined, but I mean VIR alone is still like, since there's such long straights, it teaches you like, you mess up that corner that leads you onto that long straight, either up the S's, out of Oak Tree, and just it teaches you like how getting that you need to nail that exact corner, or else you're going to be shafted by the time you get down, down the straight. So it's very precise. It's making sure you get one specific corner. Right? Yeah, you can maybe be a little bit slower through South Bend or something like that, but if you don't nail Oak Tree, you're going to lose 8/10 or a second by the time you get down to Roller Coaster. Things like Palm Beach was all about the long, hard sweepers, and again, kind of like a Roebling, but on a much slower speed. You could usually flip the throttle onto the car to slide and rotate. Also had walls everywhere. What else? Any other tracks? Daytona is kind of similar in that sense of like, hey, you need to concentrate on the bus stop exit. And it teaches you really about the two horseshoes, the International Horseshoe and the West Horseshoe, about getting through them and getting out of them. It's very tight hairpins, and there's a lot of time to be had there. Turn 1 brake zone is very unique to Daytona as well, because you're coming in at 140, 50 power fast. It teaches you about how to, anyways, each track teaches something different. So when you go to the next track, you've learned something, and you just like Neil said, you grow and you grow and you grow. And then you go back to another track that you did before, and you go a lot faster. And they're like, well, I didn't do anything to the car. It's exactly the same, but you've become a better driver because you're learning all these things. So if it was like, hey, would you rather do 10 days at Sebring, or would you rather do, 1 day at 10 different tracks? I'm going 10 different tracks. So.
Yeah, that was our kind of our, I guess our thought going into like when we first started NASA. It's kind of like, oh hey, after Roebling, our times at the firm were really different, right? So like, okay, now let's hit up Daytona, let's go to Sebring, let's go to Road Atlanta, right? And I think like just the guys in general, like Ian, we want to, like you said, experience different tracks first, and then maybe hone our skills at either a local track or maybe start going to these events more often. But yeah, you're definitely right? Like every track has something new to offer, and you learn a new skill. So it's good to kind of not, I guess, collect them all. And then and even if you do like an arrive and drive, so that's one of my things. I want to do an arrive and drive because I don't have a trailer, so I can't really tow my car all the way to the West Coast for all that, right? So like one day I want to do an arrive and drive somewhere on the West Coast, or even like in a different country. Like why can't we do Suzuka?
The Nürburgring arrive and drive, the ring rentals and all that.
Yeah.
And if you, heaven forbid, you progress into wheel to wheel, that's basically what it's become nowadays, is arrive and drive.
Oh yeah.
Which is where the sim comes in handy. So it's like, hey, I haven't been to this place. Okay, you sim 700 laps of it. You have a month or two to prep. You'll be fine, wheel to wheel. Before you go, if you're comfortable with wheel to wheel.
That's a whole other ball.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody. Let me put a big asterisk on that. Not everybody will be comfortable with wheel to wheel, but that is where the main money-making market in motorsports has become. Is ride and drive rental seats for Champ, WRL.
Exactly. That's very true. I haven't done a wheel race in so long, and I need to go drive one. I've just been so concentrated on getting the S2000 back together, or this year it's just getting towards Nats. All money and all money and time is just focused on that. So I definitely need to do some wheel to wheel. It's been a long time.
Hey, you do Honda Challenge, right? Is that wheel to wheel, like when you're not time trials?
I could, except I don't have a cage in my car, so I can't do Honda Challenge yet. So that was the plan last year, was to cage it and do Honda Challenge, but then I blew the motor, so all money and time went into putting a new motor in the car, then the cage. So next year's cage, but at the same time, I don't want to wheel to wheel the S2000 just because, like I was saying earlier, parts are discontinued. Can't get another door. Doors are gone. Inner quarters are gone, so outer quarter skins are still available, but like I said, doors are gone, and I think bumpers are discontinued, are about to be. Just all kinds of parts are getting, you can't get them anymore. So parts of the suspension are discontinued. So I'm just like, something happens, you're kind of screwed. So that's where driving a Miata or Civic or something else, a BRZ and wheel to wheel is just, there's parts everywhere, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I would never wheel to wheel an SCK at this point. I would do an E36 or an FRS.
Yep.
Yeah. point, it's just not conducive anymore.
It's just not. It's just, yeah, exactly. So it'll say time attack car. I do want to cage it though, but and then people in wheel to wheel, they'll hit you, bump you on purpose, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I really don't. So I just don't. It's just such a pain. So, but anyways, that's that. And mistakes happen. I mean, how many times have I seen people get plowed into by somebody else who blows a brake zone or just loops it and hits them? Yeah, it's just not worth it after all the time and money I've put into that car. So it's a good time attack car, which is what the plan is, to keep it as for as long as possible. So
That's
who
true.
knows? Who knows?
Would you ever consider doing like a separate Honda Challenge build? Maybe, like you said, like a Civic or something, or?
Yeah, I'm not a large fan of the front wheel drive setups that I've driven. But I mean, they can be done very well. But yes, I mean, if you're going to do Honda Challenge, H2 is the place to go, and that's where all the DC5s are, DC2s, Integras, Civics, and stuff like that. That's probably the best, most competitive, and um, cost-effective class to run in. So that's definitely a possibility. You can build a Civic and go have fun for probably 10 to 12,000. So that's totally worth it. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being so early in my career is kind of like, I don't know what I want to do, you know?
And
Focus on
you
DE
should,
for now.
exactly, and you should. I mean, for me, I progressed from 1 to 4 within like a couple of months, and I just sat in D4 for like 4 or 5 years, just driving. I knew the car wasn't competitive, and I just drove just D4 for years. I think it was about 4 years, and then finally, when I blew the motor, the F20 motor, and put it in the 22, I was like, oh shit, this car's really competitive. And then I started doing TT, and here we are. So yeah, just enjoy DE and learn. Like I said, spending 4 years of just honing your craft and just getting used to it and just being comfortable with the car and other cars around you obviously has paid dividends years down the road. So yeah, don't feel like you're rushed. Just enjoy it. Learn, 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 and don't learn bad habits now, because those will obviously negatively affect you down the road. So just enjoy yourself, be safe, and learn. So
Yeah, and I appreciate, like, there's you, there's Neil, right, and Moni, and everybody's like helping me out. So definitely appreciate it, and all the encouragement. This sport is kind of like everybody, this is one big family. So that's pretty.
small, very small family, and you either meet jerks or you either meet great people. And I mean, some of by far my closest friends are people who I've tracked with, raced with, kind of thing. Which is, and again, what the part that sucks is like all of my race people I'm quite close with. I mean, problem is they're all scattered across the country. This person lives in Atlanta. This person might be Tampa, South Florida. This person's in Virginia. But it's just, when you meet up together once, twice, 3 times a year at whatever track or event it is, you all just click, and it's awesome. So yeah, it's a great family to have. And yeah, I wish I could do more events.
Yeah, same here. It's like my first NASA event. It was like David just actually texted me a week before. It was like, "Hey, I heard you're coming." I was like, "Oh, oh boy!" And then he was like, "Get on the sim, do a couple of laps." Met him in person. I'd never met him in person, but then we literally just
Sebring?
did a track. Yeah, remember October? Never done anything before. Somehow you reached out to me before it, and then I just wrote. It was Nick's TT.
Oh yeah, of
Check
course.
weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yumi, Duncan, I think Bechet, and Brian. Brian didn't do the track walk, but we did the track walk. Met up. It was a good time. And like I just felt like I was blessed because I met the right people.
Bingo.
It was like it made it, you know, what it is today for me too. So I progressed a little bit quicker only because I met the right people that guided me along and showed me what they wanted to do.
Point. It's a great point. Yeah, I didn't have my car that weekend. I don't think. I think it was already dead. Maybe, I don't know. I
Can't
can't keep
remember.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've killed it twice so far, technically 3 times. So
That kind of makes me feel bad for people who, like, don't run into the right people. That maybe they have
true.
a poor instructor, or it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh man, it's
It
kind
happens
of.
often, sadly.
It does. want to make a great point. I've heard stories, horror stories. Someone will come to NASA or another organization and get a terrible instructor, and there are many of them out there, and they just have a horrible time, and they just don't come back, and it sucks. But I mean, they usually go there by themselves, and they don't know anybody, or if they do go with a friend, then they just keep to themselves, and it's daunting. Getting into the sport isn't just like going down to your local basketball court and like talking to somebody, shooting hoops, and you get into a game, and there you go. It's way more financially, intrusive, and it's just daunting and big, and there's travel time involved. Like there's all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely difficult to branch out and either meet people or meet the right people, like Neil said. But yes, every organization, every group has a core group or a good group or two to join in with, and yeah, you latch onto them and go places. So
Yeah, man. And I heard Neil laugh a little bit about the shooting hoops. I think even that to me is intimidating, right?
oh, of course.
Which is,
So,
oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
come
one
up
of
to
those-
these guys, right?
Yeah, and I mean, my first track day at the firm, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. If you talk to people, and I think any sport, right? I mean, I used to play basketball too, and any sport you realize you'll meet one. There's a type A and type B personality. It's like there's a lot of guys. There's one group of people who will be like in any sport where they talk a lot of shit, and then their skills don't match. And then there are people who are generally the quiet guys who aren't saying much. And then you're like, holy crap, this is a good mentor to have, those kind of guys. I do notice if you at least try, when you meet people at a track day or something, you can gauge who knows what they're talking about, who doesn't, pretty quickly. Boastful, bashful guys. It's like, you're probably talking too much, kind of thing. So definitely play an eye to the guys talking. One good thing I would recommend for anyone who's on YouTube listening is like, Steve was hanging around the event coordinator a lot. Those are good guys, and if the event coordinator, like Jim is the event coordinator for NASA, generally the guys around him are going to lead you the right way too. So,
It's true.
not
Yeah.
saying me and Dave and us are the good guys per se, but
For
me
you,
and
Neil.
yeah, Jim. If Jim knows us, like me, Duncan, and everybody, like
Oh, you're right.
first name basis, and we talk to him like all day throughout the day, and he says hi to us back. But if you spot that, those are generally the guys you can never go wrong being around. So
Yeah, they almost seem like they are donating their time, right, to help others. So that kind of personality,
yeah, I mean there is the paradox of being an instructor. I will say is like the allure of it is, it reduces the cost of being there, but it should not, like a lot of people go in with just that intent, and you can tell those instructors from the rest. But the sad thing for the student in that case is they don't know until they're there, right? They don't know beforehand. Like me and Dave could point out, not even gonna name names, but we can point out the bad instructors when we see them nowadays. But sadly, the students don't know that, so there is that frustration. Even we feel it too. It's like we know some guys who just rush to become instructors because they get the free seat time, and it's like, do you even care about the student? Do you debrief them? Do you talk to them beforehand, afterhand, or you just like, hey, nice, I'll see you in 20 minutes, I'll see you in an hour, kind of thing?
Wow. I mean, so I think so far, well, I mean, I kind of cheated. I have Moni as my
Yeah,
instructor most of the time, but
that's not a bad idea. Use your friends.
yeah. I think Ian actually he's gotten pretty lucky. Most of the instructors that Ian has had have been pretty good, and talking to him afterwards and before. So far we haven't had a bad experience with NASA personally. I know one person in our group had kind of a bad one at Roebling, but yeah, I mean like it wasn't bad that like his skill was there. He just I think he either was too hard on him or yeah, I forget what the event was, but yeah, you do kind of hit or miss, but yeah, we're thankful for the NASA instructors at least because they donate their time.
It's true.
Just keep in mind, if it's somebody like, if you want me or David or somebody, just shoot us a text, and if we're going to the event, we can set it up with like, yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah, for sure.
You can definitely request an instructor if you know him by name. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing for August. I told him,
Yeah.
hey, pick me up. I'll send out the email.
Or like what'll happen is like, yeah, you might be out of the instructor, requirement. You don't need someone. You're in D2, 3, whatever it is, but you're bringing a new friend for the first time. That's always a big one. You're like, hey, I'm bringing this friend. It's his first time or it's his second time or whatever it is. He's signing up in DE1, and I really would love an instructor who I know who could get along with him, and there you go. That's I've had that a number of times where I don't know the student, but I know the friend of the student. That exactly, and it's like, oh great, I love meeting new people, and if it makes it easier for that new person, like awesome. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good. And again, and then on the flip side, I'd say, Neil, I'm not sure if you agree or not, but I'd say 85-90% of students are good. Occasionally, I've had the bad student, but I mean, for the most part, it's usually good. So that's always good. You get a good pairing of student and instructor. They can have a good, safe weekend.
I only had one really constantly sketchy student I had at the firm, and it just wasn't sinking in. It was like one, but I've probably at least instructed over 50 people at this point. So, I mean, 1 out of 50, nothing crazy.
2%. 2%.
Generally, a lot of it is just jitters for the new guys. Like if you're a car guy, you kind of understand the basics. Like you're not gonna go fast, but you understand how not to get a car super out of whack, even at sea. And the thing is, most of the new guys will probably just take it easy. They won't really push the limit of the car. They're just trying to build up their confidence and like wean them onto it and boost their confidence more so than anything else. I had this one guy on the Sunday of the last Sebring event, one of the GR guys. And he was the first guy who actually got me to really grip the oh shit handle for once in a good way. I've never had to like actually brace up in the car with a brand new student. He was just getting it on his own, and I was like, I really got nothing to say for you as a D1 guy. Like you're just doing it, have a good time. I'll just watch your mirrors and make sure everything's good. That's about it. Have fun. Do your thing.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Did he have any kind of background, or was just kind of like
no, first
naturally
ever
skilled?
time on track, and I was being a little prejudiced about it because he had an automatic GR86. I was like, oh boy, one of these guys. And then, all things considered, his line, his use of the brakes, blending everything. He even started trail braking in the mid-speed corners like 10 and everything. I was like, wow, this guy's actually getting this car to rotate properly. Like, I'm happy. I got nothing to say.
He was testing you. He was like, there's a hidden
Yeah,
camera,
yeah.
right?
I'm a 5-time Le Mans winning champion over here. But yeah, no, it was fantastic. And I love seeing that. Like seeing a student do real good, it's like one of the best feelings when they have the light bulb moments.
Speaking of good students, I see Kaylee's in the chat. I think it would be nice if you could. Have you met Kaylee?
I have, yeah. Actually,
Okay. Okay.
I coached him at the
Oh, that's
Honda
right.
event. He like I said, he was actually one of the best ones I've had. Where he was a little timid in session 1, as anybody is. I just remember him getting really sweaty and saying, "Oh my God," on the grid line. I was like, "Oh boy, don't give up on me now." But then, I just did a couple. I was like, I could sense he was a little bit timid. I was like, "Here, just so you feel what a car is capable of. Let me just do 3 laps in this car, and this way you get a feel of weight transfer, everything the car's capable of. Don't be afraid, kind of thing." And then he gets back in the car and he's like flying. He's like keeping up with Adam and everybody, and I'm like, where did this come from? This is fantastic. Like, no, he did really good. Like, I've never seen. He is one of the 3 or 4 guys I've seen go from like super scared to like in the zone and comfortable within 3 sessions. Like, it was one of the best ones I've seen.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good compliment for you, Kaylee. He just actually got his sim set up too, so I think he's
And I've,
getting
I've
really
seen him
into
on
it.
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen him on the sim. He's been doing good.
So
Getting practice.
that's a good story, right? Kind of like get somebody who's kind of like, not sure, and then now he's going all the way.
And that honestly can be the difference between a good instructor and a bad instructor. The student can, again, have a bad time and quit or stop or take a long pause in the sport, or they can be, they can be thrown into it and they can love it, and then they can be an incredible experience, and then it fuels this downward or upward spiral of spending money and time and getting better in sims. And yeah, anyways, you totally get what I'm going for. So yeah. But we definitely need more sim people. I would love to be driving with more people on iRacing or whatever. I would love to host some servers and do some fun, and because yeah, this thing sits here most of the time. So
Oh man, now you guys are now you might tempt me to buy it before Black Friday now.
you might still as a first timer get like, maybe if it's pre Black Friday, it might be like 30% or so. It's there somewhere if you look it up. They usually have coupons from time to time. But yeah, we should
Yeah.
do.
You
Okay,
might
yeah.
be able to email fanatec because I saw a thing going on of like if you bought a bundle, you got 3 months for $1.
Oh, I've heard of
Yeah,
that
so
too.
at least 3 months for $1 ain't bad.
I think I actually qualify for that, so I don't know why I haven't just redeemed it.
Yeah, redeem that if you can.
The
All
only
right, I'm
bad thing
down.
is if you redeem it, you won't be able to take advantage of the
Oh, the
half
other one.
off
Yeah.
exactly, because you won't be a
Oh,
first timer at that point. Just something to think about. But yeah, anyways, you can.
create another account right now. Yeah, I
Like
don't
put
know.
it under the wife's name or something like that. Totally. I'm serious. Yeah, you could totally do that. Um, Anything you bought under that account though, you'd have to rebuy into your new account. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's been fun. I think yeah, I just hit the 2 hour mark, so I think
Yeah.
end the stream here. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hopping on. I think we'll do like the Monday stream will be the live chat, and maybe the Wednesday stream will just be kind of solo. But I mean, like if you guys are on, I'll definitely hop on, right? So
Cool.
I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate the pointers, and I think everybody on YouTube definitely appreciates the advice for first time starting and all the getting over the jitters and definitely bringing in more people to the sport, right? So
Hell yeah.
That's all we're trying to do. And yeah, if you want to do that data review on Wednesday with the AIM stuff, by all
oh yeah,
means.
that's right. Yeah, so I'll
Yeah.
definitely try to set that up beforehand so we're not just fumbling around, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you just give me the files, I should be able to set up on my screen or something like that. I think me running through it because I've been on the graphs would help, keep things flowing. But up to you how you want to run it.
Yeah, we'll let you like share your screen and then we'll let everyone else follow along and yeah, I'll stream that. That'll be good.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks guys for joining. I think if you haven't already like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. And yeah, until the next time, peace out, guys.
See y'all.